and welcome to Switch On. I'm Annie Petts, and today we'll be looking at what the Ipswich Nature Centre has to offer and the latest in music trends from Emerge. But first, in the studio we have a very special guest, the media consultant and spokesperson for the RSPCA, Michael Beatty, to tell us a bit about his journey with the RSPCA. Thank you for joining us today, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
And I see you brought a special guest. Can you tell us who this is?
Yeah, this is Mac, and he unfortunately is one of our long-termers. He's been with us for well over 100 days now. He came down from Mackay, and I've just had him out in King George Square this morning. He's very sociable, he's very chilled, he gets on with other dogs, and he's about 4.5 years old and he's looking for a home.
Oh, wow. So could you tell us a little bit about the RSPCA and how long you've been working there?
Well, the RSPCA, as you probably know, originated in England. In Queensland it's been going now for over 130 years. When it originally started, a lot of people don't realise it was also looking after children as well, but that actually stopped in 1974, so it's just purely animals now. I said I'd help out the RSPCA for 6 weeks back in 2004. I'm still there.
Oh, wow.
So yes, it sort of gets in your blood.
So what brought you to the RSPCA?
Well, I'd been in television for over 40 years as a reporter, doing docos and current affairs and stuff, and I didn't particularly like the way the so-called current affairs program I was working on was travelling, and so I was just looking around for something else. Well, I actually resigned, and a friend of mine said, "Can you come and do my job for 6 weeks, because I've got to go down to Sydney." So yeah, anyway.
Oh, wow. So other than dogs, what else can you get at the RSPCA?
Well, it depends if you're talking about adopting or not. But if you're talking about adopting, I mean, at the moment we've got 4 Shetland ponies that are looking for homes. We've got a couple of horses. We've got a couple of goats. We've always got chooks and geese and what have you, and also reptiles. But these aren't reptiles that have come in from the wild. They've come in from normally being seized by the department from a domestic situation, so they can't go back into the wild because they've never been in the wild. So we've got, you know, snakes and blue tongues and you know, a variety of other reptiles there. And I should probably mention, because the RSPCA in Queensland is the only state RSPCA in Australia that actively looks after native wildlife as well. So we've got a dedicated wildlife hospital down at Wakehole, which is great, but 4 years ago we were dealing with about 8,500 native animals and birds a year. Last year it was 27,000.
Wow.
So you know, it's grown for all the wrong reasons.
So have you had any stories that have really touched your heart and stuck with you with animals that have been brought in? Oh,
yeah, truckloads.
Really? Wow.
I mean, the people often say, you know, they'll either say to you, and not just me, you know, one of our inspectors, animal attendants, vets or whatever, they'll either say that must be the best job in the world because you're surrounded by all the animals, or else they'll say, how in the hell do you work there? It must be so depressing. And there is a bit of both, but honestly the good far outweighs the bad. There's so many more happy endings than there are sad endings.
Yeah. So as the spokesperson for the RSPCA, what's your role in the media and campaign like that?
Well, obviously, being a charity, we just can't afford to advertise. So the more media we can get in regard to the type of work that we're doing on a daily basis, the more the profile of the RSPCA builds, I guess you could say. And I also do a lot of talking around seniors clubs and Probus clubs and Rotary clubs and this type of thing, spreading the word there as well. And I guess, you know, without, you know, meaning to sound strange about it in any way. Obviously, you hope that somebody might consider leaving a small bequest in their will when they pass on, and you know, that does happen, thankfully. Otherwise, we couldn't afford to keep going, because our operating budget in Queensland's just under 50 million a year, and we receive less than 2% of that in government funding. So there's a fair bit to find.
Yeah. So what's the easiest way our audience can donate?
Well, basically they can go online or ring up at our call centre. If they go on to rspcaqld.org.au, that's the website. There's all sorts of ways you can do that there, or else you can ring up the call centre on 3426 9999, and if you do want to donate online, you'll find a direct number there as well.
Okay, well thank you so much for chatting with us today, Michael, and thank you to Mac for coming in.
Yeah, Mac's looking pretty chilled. He had a busy morning in King George Square.
Yeah, it's absolutely adorable. Thank you so much again.
Okay, no problem.
It was wonderful to hear all about the work being done at the RSPCA, and if you're looking to adopt an animal, you can head on down to the Wacol RSPCA, located at 139 Wacol Station Road, or to donate you can head to www.rspcaqld.org.au/donate. Now, on top of adorable animals, we spoke to the lovely Tara over at the Ipswich Nature Centre. The Ipswich Nature Centre features a range of Australian wildlife, lush landscaped gardens and exhibits that have been recreated to represent local bushland. Let's have a look.
My name's Tara. I work as one of the keepers here at the Ipswich Nature Centre. We are a small zoo right here in the middle of Ipswich. We have around 50 species and about 200 animals in total, mostly Australian native species. We breed our bilbies and they're part of a breeding program with the Save the Bilby Fund, so it's very exciting for the keepers and for visitors when we get baby bilbies. So we're located in Queen's Park. Queen's Park's actually one of the oldest parks in Queensland. So we're right in the middle of town here in Ipswich. It's really accessible. It's a wonderful little oasis for people to come. It's only a gold coin donation, so you can bring the whole family, and it's a wonderful little outing for the kids. It's not too big, so it doesn't take very long. So it's a really nice little opportunity for the kids to be able to get up close and personal with some animals, and just to be able to see them what they usually probably wouldn't get to see, and learn a little bit about some Australian native wildlife.
I like the zoo because there's lots of cute animals in it.
Yeah, it's a really great place to come for families, and it's just really lovely to see people focusing on conservation and education for our native animals, especially Ipswich local animals.
You should all come to Queen's Park, Ipswich, if you want to have a nice time.
Thank you, Tara, for letting us in to see the amazing wildlife at the Ipswich Nature Centre. Remember, if you'd like to head on down, it's only a gold coin donation, and all the donations are used for the care of animals and future improvements to the Nature Centre. They are located at Queen's Park, Golby Avenue, Ipswich. Before we end our show today, I'd like to pass it on to Callan and Russell for Emerge to tell us all about the latest trends in music.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Emerge, a show dedicated to sharing you the best and latest in Queensland music. For our last show of the year, we'd like to share with you some of the winners from this year's Emerge Awards, which we'll be presenting in a full 3-hour show countdown on the 9th of December. Anyway, with all that said, what's the first award that we'll be giving out, Callan?
The first award we're giving out is to our Venue of the Year, a live music venue that we've visited several times throughout the year and one that always brings their A game. This year we've got to give it to Brisbane's darling, the Zoo, an incredible medium-sized venue whose lighting rig and sound system is almost always perfect. If you are yet to see a show at the Zoo, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Our next award goes to our recording studio of the year. It has to go to a studio consistently recording a variety of quality local releases from singles to EPs and albums. This year's award is going to Bedlam Records, an intimate home studio setup in Indooroopilly that is this year alone recording some of the greatest releases that we've heard, the Jensens, Electric Zebra and Bugs, as well as Semantics.
Next up, we have our debut of the year, which just has to go to Chocolate, the debut single from Brisbane psych funk quartet, Timothy Learjet. It's a relentlessly groovy, tempo-shifting 6-minute epic that is equally incredible seeing translated live at the band's shows. Chocolate is also the first taste of the band's upcoming debut EP, which is out due early next year.
Our award for Show of the Year has to go to one of the most exciting and electrifying moments of the entire year itself. Having claimed 2 prizes at the Cube Effect Awards, Brisbane band The Jensens earned a place as a mystery act at Splendour in the Grass. On what was possibly the coldest show of the year as well, The Jensens provided an eager crowd with a truly electrifying debut Splendour show with an unprecedented level of energy and showmanship. Congratulations to those guys.
And now for our last award, we're going to have to split this in half as we couldn't agree on just one EP of the year. My pick goes to the stunning debut EP from Brisbane trio Sweater Curse. See You was one of the first EPs we heard this year, and since then it has always stayed at the top of my list. It bundles a collection of the band's first bunch of written tracks in a wonderfully recorded and performed 20-minute package. It's a release that manages to be heavy, powerful, intimate, catchy, and wholly absorbing throughout its runtime. And for those reasons, it is my EP of the year. Russell, what takes your pick?
Oh gosh, it has been a very hard choice, but
Yep.
It's a terribly tough decision to decide just one, and it can be unquestionably one of the hardest things you have to do at the end of the year anyway. But the insanely awesome sophomore EP from Semantics, If You're Not Alright, really deserves it. It's a remarkable piece that deserves the utmost praise, recorded at the aforementioned Bedlam Records. So much of what makes Semantics a great live band is translated into these recordings. The 5 tracks weave beautifully with powerful lyrics behind a brilliantly constructed hail of punk rock glory. This EP really sets the bar high for me this year, and it's good to end on that as well.
And there you have it, a selection of this year's Emerge Awards. If you want to hear a few extra categories and Russell and I counting down our top 30 tracks of the year, tune into our 3-hour special from 7 to 10 p.m. on Phoenix Radio, Digital Radio and 1197 AM on the 9th of December. And to keep up to date with us, make sure you follow our social media pages at Emerge Radio Show. Russell, do you have something to say?
Big thank you to the Emerge boys for that, and also a big thank you to Michael Beatty and Tara for coming on our show today and letting us in on the wonderful world of animals. For more information on any of our stories, you can head to Facebook at Switch On Stories and Twitter at #SwitchOnStories. Thank you all for tuning in and being a part of our show for the debut season of Switch On. And as always, I'm Annie Pets, and you've been switched on.